We got the whole canvas toned and we're going to get started painting it today. So I showed you several ways that you could paint right on white canvas. I explained that it's not what I normally do because I don't want those little white pieces where the weave came together and the paint didn't get in between all of those. So I tone it and then that doesn't happen. So now I'm going to be drawing on the canvas with my soft fine charcoal. This is what I'm going to be putting on there. It's a mountain scene with some water. There's a cabin in the background, trees back here, lots of rocks in the water, rocks over here. Not certain how much foreground there'll be because this is such a narrow canvas but it's very long. I'm going to add clouds back in there, but they will have to go in at an angle to give distance perspective. If they were straight, it would look very flat, so they have to go in on an angle. So we're going to get started on this and let's get going. We're going to mix up some paint to work on the clouds. I'm using dioxazine purple, some ultramarine blue, and some white. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna right here. I'm using a number 12 natural bristle brush to get those clouds in there, and I'm painting across the top, so if it's not framed, it'll look fine. Those clouds are going to go in at an angle to create distance and give the painting better perspective. Those are just to give me a place to start. I'm going to mix up some sky color using ultramarine blue, turquoise deep, white, and I'm probably going to add a little bit of burnt sienna. I'm sorry, but my camera clicked off while I was painting those two mountains on the sides, but they're exactly like this same one that I am getting in here. One side is always lighter than the other, and let your brush do the work. Let it shape the mountain and the rocks in it. You can see I'm not going straight down, I'm not going sideways. I'm letting that brush actually shape the mountain, and this is only the underpainting, so it will change shapes a number of times before we're actually finished. This puts the mountain in, and then we'll work on it again in another video. 100% sure that I like the mountains at this moment. I'm lightening up this one over here. That right side needs to be lighter than the left side, but what I'm not crazy about is the difference on how dark the dark ones are and how light that light one is. We'll see if after a few days, if I still like it. I want to step in here and show you something. Right in here, original acrylic paint of the mountain was very thin, and you can see this part, the toned canvas, shining through. You probably can't see it where you are, but right in here. Now, if I had not toned this canvas, you would see all this white trying to show through. Your eye would go straight to it, which is not where I want your eye to go. So we're going to keep working on this, but I just want to point this out. This is the whole reason I tone my canvases. Make that side of the mountain lighter, and you'll see the difference in almost seconds that the light shines through better on that side. Mixing up paint using ultramarine blue, turquoise deep, some white, and I'll eventually add a little of the burnt sienna. We have clouds in, we have some mountains in, and we're putting the sky in. And this is just the underpainting. This is by no means a finished product, so don't get caught up in the weeds and think that it all has to be perfect at this point, because it certainly does not. You can see that the sky is darker than the clouds, which is a good thing. And I'm just going around the clouds. Some people call this cutting in the sky. And so at this point, I'm putting in the sky, and I'm going to go around the clouds, the mountains, and again, it's not a perfect piece. Those clouds will be worked on again in the next video, but this is just getting them in there, part of the underpainting. Now you see I'm coming back with some lighter color there, and it does not matter at all. It gives some distance in the sky. You want the top of the canvas to be darker, and as it comes closer to the horizon, you're going to want it to get lighter. That helps with the perspective and the distance of your painting as well. And you can see I'm going over that pass that I've already done, and it's fine. I'm going to cover up some of these clouds. I know now where they're going to be. I've got it in my head that they have to be at an angle. So now we're just going to go around the mountains and get that part of the sky done. I'm also getting those side pieces so that if it's not framed, it will look correct all the way around. You can shape your clouds here. Now we're adding the water, and I've just added a little bit more turquoise to it. Again, getting those sides. That's the part that many beginners in my classes forget to do. No matter how many times I remind them, they forget to get all four sides. I'm going around some rocks that are going to be on that corner. And then over there on the other side is that jetty that's going to stick out. Now it's kind of important that I put that water back behind there so it does look like it's sticking out some. And again, the different shades of the water does not matter because, again, just like the sky, it needs to be darker the farther away it is and lighter the closer it gets. And again, we don't want to forget the bottom of the painting as well. We're about getting this underpainting in there. Woohoo! We're going to get the jetty in and the rocks on the right side. And then we will be done with the underpainting. Yay! Okay, we are finished with the underpainting. Okay, this is the point where beginners get to and say, this is horrible, I'm no good. This is only the underpainting. There's going to be many adjustments, many layers to go on top of this, and you will love it. But you have to get to the end and you have to give yourself some grace. It's ugly right now, but I know it's going to be really good when I get it done. So don't tear yourself up when you're finished with your underpainting. That means you've got the entire canvas covered with paint. And then you can move on. I went a little crazy on the mountains. I shouldn't have spent that much time on them. And if my brain was telling me, let's work on these mountains, but I really should have just been getting the underpainting in. So we're going to work on the mountains in the future as well. They're nowhere near done. The clouds are nowhere near done. The sky is nowhere near done. The water, these rocks, nowhere near done. So give yourself some grace and don't get too discouraged when you're finished with the underpainting, because they're all ugly at that point. Every artist looks at their underpainting part and goes, oh, this is horrible. And then it becomes beautiful as you finesse it, as you refine it, as you improve it. You're going to love it. But at this point, you're not going to love it, and just accept that you're not going to love it. Okay? So
Next week, we are going to work more on the clouds and the sky, and maybe we'll see how far we get. I'm trying not to let these videos get more than 15 minutes so you don't get bored and discouraged. So anyway, let's get your underpainting done. Whatever you want to paint, but just remember, it's an underpainting, okay? See you next week. I almost forgot to tell you, I'm going to spray my paint down and then put the lid on the box, and so it fits really good and tight, and that will keep that paint in there good for a very long time.